Hello, so this is my Thursday forecast. So let's get right into the forecast and take a look at the euro and the US dollar. So what I'm seeing right here is we had this ascending structure and there was actually an opportunity to enter right here. So right on this candle, and I was seeing this clean ascending structure, so we were just breaking the highs, retracing and breaking only with wicks. And when I see this sort of price action, this is really high probability. But what I then wanted to see, I wanted to see a nice big impulse to the downside. But we actually got this very weak wicky impulse, so lots of wicks to the downside, large double wicks. And at this point I was not willing to put a pending short order because this impulse just wasn't enough for me. So what then happened, we actually got a pullback, and currently I am expecting a larger range here, so something like this. So I didn't enter this trade because it didn't fit my plan. Before this impulse the price action was very clean to me. We were only breaking with wicks and really having a really nice ascending structure. But yeah, this part didn't fit my plan. What I would like to now see is a nice big impulse to the upside. Then I would look for a trade, or I would like to see an impulse, pullback, break and a retest. We can get an ascending, so an ascending structure. Then I would look for an impulse to the downside, look for a trade. Or I would like to see a nice big impulse to the downside. I would look for a trade, and this would be high probability because we are coming from an ascending structure, and I know when I see an ascending structure it is high probability that we will move to the downside. Also, I would like to see a push, pullback, break and a retest. So a bullet trade. This is now, so we have one impulse, second impulse, third impulse, so this is very high probability. As I said, we are seeing an ascending, so we are expecting the price to push to the downside. Also, what can happen, we can get a descending here, then get a push to the upside. I would look for a trade. Also, on the euro pairs, what I know can happen, we can get a descending and then push in the same direction, look for a short trade. Or we can get an ascending structure, push, then look for a long trade. So yeah, that can happen, but also we can get a descending here and then into an ascending. Since then that would be an ascending into a descending, signaling further ranging price action. So that is definitely a possibility. Currently I'm not seeing any momentum either to the upside or to the downside, and I'm expecting more ranging price action. What I would like to see is a nice big impulse either to the upside, so to the upside or to the downside. And now for the euro and the Japanese yen. So what I'm seeing right here, I saw this V reversal. And when I see a V reversal, so I'm expecting this pattern. I'm seeing a V, I want to see a range, and I want to see a nice big push to the upside. But we just broke the high and retraced with a large wick. And then, so let me take this back. After we broke the high and retraced, I was wondering to see if we will get momentum to the downside. And we did actually get this candle, but to me this candle wasn't enough to search for short trades. I wanted to see a little bit more. Then we got this candle. This still wasn't enough because I was seeing this wick, and the prior price action was range bound, so I wanted to see a bigger push. What we then got is a one candle pullback, and then we broke the low and retraced. So at this point I was looking for to enter on a short trade if we got more of an impulse, something like this, because I'm now seeing one impulse, just one candle pullback, and I'm seeing a continuation. Then we got this candle. This still wasn't enough for me to search for a short trade, but after this candle I placed a pending short order. So currently I do have a pending short order right at the bullet level. So I'm not going to be placing a risk to reward tool as I don't want it to be taken as a signal. But I'm seeing this momentum to the downside, I'm seeing a one candle pullback, and I'm seeing the momentum continue. So to me this impulse was enough, it was enough evidence to place a pending short order. So we will see what happens. Maybe I will get tagged in and then we move to the downside, then I will look for a scale in. Or maybe we continue to the downside from here, then I will look for a short trade. We can get a push, pullback, another push, look for a break and a retest, so a bullet trade. Or also what can happen, so we can just stay ranging right here and get maybe an ascending into a descending. That is a possibility. Also we can get a V reversal, then I will look for a small range and a continuation of the second leg. We can also get a nice large push, then I will look for a flag and look to enter on a long trade. Or we can get a push, pull back, another push, look for a break and a retest. This is then very high probability and signaling a trend. Also what can happen, so we can get a nice large ascending structure, nice clean ascending, look for an impulse to downside, look for a trade. That is also a possibility. Also this can turn out to be a descending, then I would look for an impulse to the upside, look for a trade. Or as we know on the euro pairs, we can get a descending and then an impulse in the same direction, look for a short trade. Same thing to the upside, so we can get a ascending, then look for an impulse to the upside and look for a long trade. So yeah, that is it for the euro and the Japanese yen. Currently I'm waiting to see if I will get tagged in, or if we do get some more momentum to downside, maybe we get a bomb opportunity. But to me this is now starting a trend. So prior to that we had range bound price action, but currently we have one impulse, one candle pullback, then a second impulse. So this to me is now starting a trend, and I would consider this also trending price action. So now let's take a look at the Aussie and the US dollar. What we had here, so let me take this back. We had this descending structure, and then after the descending, as I said in the prior forecast, I was searching for momentum to the upside, which we then did get. So we got one push, one candle pullback, and then a continuation. And at this point, we did see this large wick, but to me, I already had a pending order at the bullet level. This was just very, very high probability. In my opinion, we got a 3 candle push, 1 candle pullback, and then 2 candle continuation. So, and it was after a descending structure. So to me, this was a very, very high probability. And after this candle, I had a pending long order. This wick actually didn't concern me because it fits my plan. So then we got the retrace. I didn't get tagged in at this point, but then this price action showed me an even better setup. So this is just really clean and really a textbook trade, because we are seeing a wick and we are seeing a range. And then I also had a pending order at the, this would now be a combo, because we had first high, first low, second high, second low. But then this candle was spread hours. So I wanted to stay out of the market, because I know that the spreads largen and I didn't want to get tagged in and tagged out straight away. So I waited 2 hours for the spreads to finish. And after this candle, I placed a long order. So right here, I got tagged in. I was very happy to be in this trade, because I was seeing this very clean price action. And then, so we broke the high. Got a absolutely huge wick right here, and then we sort of ranged around, and then we broke the high again. And currently I am locked in with 1.9% profit, so my stop loss is under this most recent low. And I'm seeing if we will get a continuation to the upside, then I will look for a trade. So a scale in actually, or if we get a nice big push, just a second, if we get a nice big push, I would look for a flag trade. Maybe we get an ascending from here, then I would look for an impulse to the downside, look for a short trade. or we get maybe a range right here. Then I would just stay out, wait for the break of the low or the high. Also what can happen, we can shoot to the downside. I would then look for a short trade, maybe search for a flag. Since we are then forming a ascending structure, so we are currently forming an ascending structure because we are just breaking the highs, retracing, breaking the highs, retracing. So this is a possibility. Let me just remove this. Or we can get a break, nice impulse, pull back, another impulse, look for a break and a retest trade. Or we can get a descending from here. Then I will look for momentum to the upside, look for a trade. But if we do get a descending, then it would signal to us ranging price action, because we are seeing an ascending into a descending, so it could signal further ranging price action, and I need to be then more careful when searching for setups. So yeah, for the Aussie, I'm currently in a long trade. This was a very clean setup, a textbook trade for me. I have locked in some profit, and I'm looking for a scale in or the price to reverse and take me out. So we will see what happens. And now for the Aussie and the Japanese yen. So I had no trade and I don't have any pending orders, because to me this is just pure range bound price action. There was an opportunity to enter right here. So at this point I was seeing this prior range bound price action, and I was waiting for a nice big impulse and some nice evidence to the upside or to downside. We then got this nice impulse, got a just 2 candle pullback, and then a straight continuation and a clean close. At this point I did have a pending long order on this candle, so I was very happy to take this long because I was seeing an impulse, just a 2 candle pullback and the continuation of the impulse. I was seeing a trend. This prior range bound price action did not concern me because this to me was just a really high probability setup. But then we got this large wick on the top, and at this point I removed my order and I wanted to see more of a range, or I wanted to see a combo. So I wanted to see a push, pullback, another push to the entry point. But what we actually got, we got 1 candle retrace, and then we started to range around. So let me exit this. We then broke the low retrace, broke the high retraced, and created this larger range. So currently this is just ranging. If we take a look at it from the larger picture, this is really not showing me any momentum either to the upside or to the downside. And this to me is just bad price action. I want to see a nice big impulse. So what I can forecast is that we will just continue with this range. Something like this. I would like to see a nice big push to the upside, look for a long trade, or a nice big push, pull back, another push, break and a retest. We can get a clean ascending. Then I would look for an impulse to the downside, look for a short trade, and the same thing to the downside. I would like to see a nice big push, look for a flag, nice big push, pull back, another push, break and a retest, signaling a trend. Or a nice clean descending, impulse to the upside, look for a flag. Then this would need to be very high probability, since we are coming from a range. We are seeing an ascending into descending into an ascending, so this impulse and the flag pattern would really need to be very high probability. So that's it for the Aussie and the Japanese yen. Currently this is just range bound, and I'm waiting for some momentum. So that is it for the forecast, and I will see you in the next one.